Hello, good people, once again. This time with the Drive Smart 65 Alexa model, but this will apply to pretty much all Garmin models. Nuvi, Drive Smart, backing up favorites manually. Okay, so when you save a favorite, such as from saved or favorites. Now I have one and it's really far away. This is how to back it up manually without using a computer. Now you could use Basecamp or download the GPX file manually and use a different editor in order to get this information, but we're going to do it the old school way, no computer, and just use a pad and pen or pencil, whatever you got. So okay, you're on the map. The first thing you need to do is run over to settings and then to, at least on this model, units and time. It's different depending on which model you have, but the concept is the same, is the position format. And it has to be in decimal degrees. Now another way to get to this is if I go to where to and then coordinates, and then over here I get to the same screen. On most other models this is the easiest way to get to this setting. So if it were, say, on a Nuvi 50, you would go to where to and then you'd press the down arrow and go to coordinates, and there's a spot, I don't remember where it is off the top of my head, but you go to the setting and you change it over there. So that's the first thing you do. And the second thing you do is go to settings, again on this model, navigation, and then turn on the GPS simulator. I already have it on, but you would want to turn it on. And then the last thing to do is to go to your favorites list, find the one that you want to back up, view it, and then, oh, is it here? Oh, it's down here. Set location. Set. See how the vehicle icon showed up? And then, from view map, tap the vehicle icon. That's the information you back up right here. Now you can write down the whole thing if you want, but in reality all you need is the first 4 digits after the decimal rounded. So for this one it would be north 33.1791. Being it's a 4, I don't have to change the 1 to a 2. And then for this one, west, yeah, I should note that because the what is that, the longitude, because the longitude can start with a 100, that's why there's a 0 in front. So west 966193, because this is a 4, I don't have to round that number up. This is optional. You can just write down the whole thing and you'll get the same result. And the reason this is good information to know is, well, there may be a point where you have to, especially if you own multiple Garmins, if you want to add a location from one to the other, but you don't want to go through the process of connecting it to the computer, connecting to Basecamp, and then sending over the information, especially if you just want to move, well, not move, but just input one location, or maybe just a handful you don't want, especially if you got a whole bunch of favorites saved. But that is how to do it. So I'm just going to recap this real quick. So you first go settings and navigation and turn on the simulator. Then make sure that your position format is in decimal degrees, and then run over to your favorites, view the information, set the locations so the vehicle icon shows up there, back to the map, tap, get this, write this part down, and that's it. The only negative about doing this, well, other than it takes time, because there's no fast way to do it, is when you input this into a different Garmin, you're not getting any of the address information. So maybe you want to write this down, maybe, it's up to you. I think just the more important thing is just to know the coordinates and the title, or maybe the title and the town and state. Because what can happen sometimes is that, well, not just sometimes, more often than not, is that you'll have a location, but the business name has changed. So what happens is that on a map upgrade, let's just say this for, I'll use this example. Let's just say, because this is a gas station, this changed from Quick Trip to Racetrack. I'm not saying that would happen, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So, okay, if I try to search for Quick Trip at that location in the new map update, it's not going to show up because the business name has changed. But I still want to know where it was. I'm not going to remember the address. So that is where quite advantageous to have this. Okay, because writing down the name is not enough. Sometimes writing down the address isn't enough, because sometimes addresses change too. Maybe in that particular property it was changed somewhat, so now what was there, maybe 1702 doesn't exist anymore, and it changed to some weird thing like 1705 Suite B, or you know what I'm saying. Stuff can change like that, but this doesn't. This is why the coordinates are so important to know, because no matter what Garmin you put this in, these coordinates will lead you right to this spot right here. So if I go to a two-dimensional view and just zoom that in, it's absolutely going to go right there, because coordinates are not reliant on address information. It's not reliant on name, title. It's just numbers. That's all that it is, and that's all that it knows. Which, believe me, I cannot stress enough how important that is. So if there's anywhere that is important to you that you want to save, input into another Garmin, something like that, you really need to know how to get in here and get that information and write it down. Now, yes, you could put it in the computer in a document or something like that. I think it's actually more important to physically write it down on a memo pad or something like that, and then place it for safekeeping elsewhere, because sometimes this is all you're going to have. I have run into this situation before. Actually, the best example I can give of this is that, let's just say you're driving around somewhere and you stop and it's a location you want to save. So you save it. Now, if, for example, I'll do that right now as an example. Okay. Let's just say, for whatever reason, it was just here. Okay. And I saved that. Okay. It's actually showing already, but let's just say I saved it. And, okay. So I have that location saved. Okay. It will show me. That's the nice part about saving a location outright, is it will show you the coordinates. But if it doesn't, because some older models don't do that, I can tap this and then set, watch the icon, set the location, and then view, and okay, there we go. I've got my information now. That place does not have an address. I mean, yes, it has a nearest address, but that's not the actual address. This doesn't matter. This does. So learn how to archive that, so to speak, and you'll be in good shape, and then you will not lose your favorite locations.